Fortnite finally did it. From the kneecapper getting nerfed, to free skins, the live events, so much more. Here is 20 updates that save Fortnite. One thing we've all been desperate for is a change to rebooting. It was so bad that everyone now plays reload, and Fortnite is trying to change that. Coming soon is a brand new feature that removes the point of reboot cards for good. So instead of running across the map or battlefield to get your teammate's card, we'll be able to just pay gold and bring all of our friends in one payment. They'll even have shielded assault rifles, finally making it worth the hassle. Epic are seriously going all out in Chapter 6, like how we saw Blacklisted collab surprisingly released this season. You see, after teasing this all the way back in Chapter 2, we assumed Mortal Kombat was permanently cancelled because of its R rating. That seemed to be the case this whole time, until Sub-Zero made a shock appearance and even brought a Mythic along with him. To excite Mortal Kombat fans even more, they updated it with tons of Easter eggs, from sound effects to the toasty uppercut appearing on your screen. And soon, Scorpion is joining the game as well. And players are seriously thanking Epic for bringing back one of the most beloved LTMs in history. The Getaway has only been in Fortnite twice, but fans couldn't get enough of it. And for the longest time, we've been dreaming of what this would look like on a modern day Fortnite island. Now we get to live that dream, because not only did they bring back the Getaway mode, they even accounted for all types of players. Whether it's a zero build version or the world's first ranked LTM, people are loving it. And we gotta say thank you to Epic for finally making gold useful in Fortnite. I mean, we could always go to an NPC and grab a weapon or hit up a vending machine, but most of us only cared if there was an exotic or a mythic on sale. Now with black markets, not only is gold better than ever, it's also basically eliminated RNG from the game. One of the most annoying parts of Battle Royale has been desperately searching for your favorite weapon, and now you don't have to. It also means you won't need to land at specific POIs for mythics anymore. Usually, the best items of a season are locked behind a boss battle. This could take a ton of time fending off other players, making sure the boss is at your POI, all for one mythic. Now, you can just rob a vault, grab your dilbit, and spend it at the nearest black market. Players love this mechanic and they hope it sticks around. This next decision by Epic is something you never see other developers doing. Out of nowhere, they revealed that anyone who's currently a year or more into their lifetime ban for cheating will be unbanned. While this sounds controversial by nature, it's actually a great decision that players are super thankful for. If kids decided to cheat once a few years ago, they could come back to the game with their lesson learned. Or, in the case of content creators like Jarvis, who were famously banned for life after making videos on how cheats work, they don't have to retire from Fortnite anymore. Some of those players aren't the only ones that deserve a second chance. The Gaming Legends series has been kinda neglected by Epic over the years. Like last chapter, we only got 4 characters from video games: the Employee, T60 Power Armor, Raiden, and Snake, and that was the entire lineup for a year. Now, despite only being 3 months into 2025, we already have 6 gaming legends. From Cyberpunk to Mortal Kombat, now even the return of Lara Croft. And by the way, it's gonna be 7 characters when Scorpion arrives. Now, they've also released crossovers that everyone can enjoy, and by everyone, I literally mean all players, because the new Invincible collab is free. Duplicate and her entire set is unlockable in the spring quests, meaning you don't even need to pay a single V-Buck to get a crossover. Now, we've talked about how they finally made gold desirable in Fortnite, so what's the coolest way to find it? Well, we've been waiting for a change to llamas ever since 2017. That's because they mostly remained the same this whole time, until Epic brought them back for Season 2. They're now gold llamas, and judging from the name, you could probably guess what's hidden inside them, up to 1,000 bars. Not only that, they also have a chance of granting you a dilbit, which is the most useful thing a llama could drop this season. We also gotta praise them for the evolution of lobby tracks. I'm not gonna lie, we were all pretty hesitant to spend V-Bucks on what was basically menu music, but then they evolved with the introduction of jam tracks. Now, these are playable songs at Festival, but also worked as emotes in game, and Epic kept on making them better. A few weeks ago, they announced Music Moments, and now your jam tracks will play when you drop in from the battle bus, and they become your Victory Royale music. Think about it, all of these new features without even touching the price of tracks. You gotta appreciate it. Just like we have to thank Epic for the greatest mini event of the new storyline. Last season, we saw the culmination of months of buildup as Daigo prepared to face Shogun X in the Spirit Realm. The fact this was a huge scale battle, and yet it was all for a mini event, was barely advertised. I mean, talk about a round of applause here. With the amount of effort going into these season finales, it is truly bringing the magic of Fortnite back after years of drought. They also keep feeding us with tons of new weapons. Like in the most recent update alone, they introduced 3 items into the loot pool: the drill, Pump and Dump, and the Outlaw Shotgun. Usually stuff like this gets drip fed over the course of a few weeks, but they didn't even stop there. They also introduced black market backrooms with over a dozen exotics and mythics ready for the taking. I think one of the most underrated aspects of Chapter 6 is the fact that Epic has kept a game-changing feature. Let's take a look at Wrecked. We got a ton of ways to customize our vehicles, including the removal of a pretty annoying item, the repair torch. Nobody had the energy to carry one of these around and waste an inventory slot just to repair their car. So Epic came up with a solution. They introduced healing pads. Now you can just drive to a gas station and heal up without ever leaving your vehicle. This was such a revolutionary change that they kept it, even when all of the other car changes were removed. And to this day, it is still the best quality of life update Vehicles has ever had. Alright, what about vehicles that you can't drive? Well, even those have gotten better. The train was one of the most exciting, but also disappointing updates of all time. We all wanted to hop on this thing and take a ride around the island, only for it to have no interior and just take you into the storm every match. So Epic went back to the drawing board and now it's fixed. There's a huge incentive to go here. It has its very own train heist with an entire vault on board you could break into. It also guarantees us a Sentinel Mythic pump for robbing it, finally saving a feature that was on the brink of being forgotten. Now, I gotta admit, one of the largest complaints the community has had about Fortnite's growth these past few years has been the Battle Pass. The situation was getting insane. I mean, every time something new came out, it felt like Epic had already designed a pass for it. Fans were paying so much money just to keep up with all the content, and luckily for us, Epic listened. They recently announced that the Fortnite crew was getting a huge overhaul, all 3 Battle Passes for the same price. It's pretty cool, right? If you needed even more proof they are dedicated to getting things right, Ballistic has been in a rough state these past few months. No new content or maps. I mean, players are struggling, and that is when Fortnite made a statement. They weren't abandoning the mode like rocket racing. In fact, it was the exact opposite. They wanted to get new content right the first time around, so they're releasing early access maps just to test the layout. Of course, in a game like Ballistic, the layout is everything, and there's no point designing an entire map to completion if players just end up hating it. So we're going to be giving feedback from day one, which sounds awesome. Speaking of rocket racing, sadly the mode has been abandoned, but that doesn't mean our car cosmetics are useless now. Fortnite finally did something that should have been possible from the very beginning. Car trails now work in Battle Royale. So if you've gained a collection of trails, you could actually show them off to your friends when drifting. Okay, we've also had some pretty serious issues with glitches this season, but we don't have to worry anymore. Epic has gotten great at patching exploits pretty much instantly. Whether it was flying from the middle island, or the deal quest giving you unlimited wins, clamping down on these is just as important as banning cheaters, and luckily they're fast at both. In fact, speaking of hackers, they have just made it even harder for cheaters to play cup tournaments. Now, you can't even play one unless your total account level is over 350, stopping anyone from making a new account and just jumping in with cheats. A ton of you may be thankful for this next change, but it's also split the player base in half. That's right, Epic has nerfed the kneecapper, turning down the knockback so you can't make cars fly infinitely anymore. This is good news for all the people who hated playing against the bat, and it's still pretty powerful, but the nerf was mostly to patch the car glitch. Did you know that Fortnite's also been listening to pro players? Because Simple Edit has been removed from competitive mode while they work to introduce the return of Siphon. Yep, this is back in ranked and will give you health over 5 seconds. Let's also take a second to congratulate Epic for making Fortnite OG permanent. Thanks to this decision, we get to look forward to new seasons, new battle passes, and even the return of old live events this season. Now, in my most recent video, I talked about how the rocket cap was being cut in half, and you guys weren't happy about it. Epic were planning to drop this from 12 rockets all the way down to 6, which I understand from your concerns would have killed all the fun of the RPG. Well, they listened. Now it's back to 12. So those were 20 times that Top5Gaming glazed Fortnite updates that saved the game. Anyways, it's been Tommy, keep it here on Top5 Gaming.